John, I can't help but think when we find ourselves in this present situation, February 2024, the way in which we're treating animals, the way in which we treat our air, land and sea, the increase of violence. I mean, what role can narrative, constructive narrative play in terms of hopefully saving humanity?
Well, I think, technology is a friend and a foe, like so many things in life. It's a friend and a foe. It is crucial to creativity because without it, all we could do is tell each other a story or sing a song. But, the development of the lute or the guitar or the piano was a major piece of technology that allowed us to expand that. So that's a very simple example. So technology is absolutely fantastic. However, there's also a dark side to technology. And I think what's happened over the last 25 years is that technology has encouraged us to kind of come within ourselves. We don't need to kind of be outside with everybody else. We don't need to kind of communicate with a huge number of people. We can do it one-to-one. And it's encouraged us to be insular. And I think encouraging us to be, that's the dark side of it. There are many positive sides to it. I'm not anti it, don't get me wrong, but that's the dark side of it. And it's encouraged an insularity that therefore allows other things to grow and develop without us really challenging it, because we're living in our own little world. We don't engage with the world outside. It's encouraged us to live in little, pods of thinking. So it encourages us to be with other people who are like us rather than challenging us to go out and engage with somebody who doesn't necessarily believe in what we believed in. So, I think that is possibly one of the reasons why we are in this situation, that people, exist within these little groups of people who think like them. And if you kind of doubt climate change, then you kind of do the algorithms within kind of the technology within social media encourage you to go to other people who doubt it. So your doubt grows and you ignore it and you don't engage with it and it's all nonsense and I don't need to be part of it and whatever it might be. So it's driving people to insular thinking. And I think one of the great things about creativity is curiosity. Curiosity is fundamentally important to creativity. To go out and engage with things. Why is that like that? Why do we do that? And that curiosity, I think, is being the dark side of technology has been taken away from us. And that is a major, major concern, because I've got to listen to another point of view. I can then challenge it, and that other point of view has got to listen to me. But I think we've become so entrenched in our beliefs that we've now set up walls against other groups. And I think that's where this kind of allows the rise of, how can I call it? I call it isolated thinking occurs, and people will not engage with the subject. So it allows those other people putting forward these terrible views to grow and grow and grow. And that's where we are. And somehow we've got to break free of it.
Yeah. I mean, out of interest, in terms of being concerned about humanity's survival throughout your life, do you think this is one of the darkest periods you've lived through right now, or have there been more difficult times?
I think I grew up with, nuclear, the bomb, and it could all be over in 4 minutes, the 4-minute warning. So I kind of look at it and I go, well, I grew up with kind of, the Cold War, and, at any moment somebody could press the wrong button, it could be, nuclear Armageddon. So, but what is so sad and in some ways depressing, that with all the knowledge that we have today, we find ourselves in this situation. That, I think, is the thing that I find most depressing. That with all the kind of, communication, all the kind of opportunity to explore, to understand, we find ourselves once again in a precarious place. And that, for me, is the thing which I I do get concerned about. I'm cursed as an optimist, so you've got to balance everything out with that. But it does concern me when I hear people talk about, the possibility of using nuclear weapons to solve a problem, constant conflict to solve problems, the imposition of one state on another state to impose their views. I thought we were getting beyond that, but we've regressed. And I think, but we've got to stay positive. We've got to show that if you are a concerned, involved human being who looks at all the aspects of every story and comes to a reasonable conclusion, you've got to believe that will win through. You've got to believe that eventually will. It's like the whole thing, the truth will out. And so I'm a great believer in that. Obviously, the huge damage we can go through if we don't rapidly get to that point of view is a thing that is very, very concerning, with war and climate change and social injustice and all the issues that we're facing. But I sort of, as I say, cursed as an optimist. Or Archbishop Tutu described it as I'm a prisoner of optimism, which I thought was a lovely way of phrasing it. So, but I am very concerned. It's kind of weird that we should be having these conversations about those issues. I mean, you think, what? Why are we talking about that? Yeah. And it's because I think social media, with its algorithms, has pushed us apart as opposed to coming together. And of course, the power of great storytelling and the power of advertising is to bring people together, is to embrace, I'm not saying advertising is the solution to this, but you learn through advertising that your job is to kind of find a way of bringing us all together.
Yeah.
And it's great skill, whether you like it or not, that's what it can do, and it does best when it's at its best.